brought 18 radios. I got 6, 6, and 2.
Meanwhile, the crowd has already begun to build on both shores of the Ohio, arriving early to secure a spot for the day-long air show and fireworks that follow.
We knew we had really hit it when we started hearing the community talk about our Thunder over Louisville. It's like a sporting event. When the community takes ownership in it, that's when you know that you've made the mark, and that's what we've got.
Just to be together and see the fireworks and stuff like that, it's just a tradition, really.
It's electrifying. It keeps getting louder, bigger. The whole downtown lights up. You can feel the electricity and everything firing off the back of these buildings.
Everyone gets excited and see all the bright colors. We would like to make this a tradition.
It's very exciting. It makes you proud to be a part of the event.
An afternoon and evening of crack aerial acrobatics later, the moment everyone has been waiting for finally arrives. The sheer size and scope of the launching platforms, in addition to the bridge in excess of 3,000 feet, make an unforgettable impression. It's clear why Thunder has become a benchmark for most fireworks shows in North America.
There's some unknown piece of magic what fireworks does to the human soul. I mean, it is excitement no matter if you're a child, an elderly person, it'll bring the childhood out in you.
My daughter turns to me at the end of every one of these, tears in her eyes, and says, "Dad, it's better than last year." And she's been saying that now for over 16 years.
Just as the Kentucky Derby has earned the right to be called racing's top event, Thunder over Louisville has gained the reputation as one of the world's great fireworks displays, giving America's heartland something magnificent to light up the night sky. Fireworks celebrate the joy of life itself. In so doing, they share a common element with many of the world's great festivals, which themselves wouldn't be complete without fireworks. One event that pushes pyrotechnics to the max is Las Fallas, celebrated each spring in Valencia, Spain. Here, hundreds of magnificently sculpted monuments are erected, only to be cremated in a binge of citywide pyrotechnics. It's nearly a month of constant booms and bangs in the city's squares and narrow streets, culminating in a week of passion, pageantry, and fireworks like nowhere else on Earth. Bounded by mountains and the Mediterranean, Valencia is known as the Garden of Spain. One-time Roman colony, Moorish possession, and medieval silk exchange, Valencia and its people have always been recognized for their great talents, excellent craftsmanship, and their amazing fiestas. Valencia's Las Fallas celebration is a tradition that has grown and blossomed from its roots in the Middle Ages. Originally held to usher in spring, it has evolved into a fantastic festival centered around the building and the burning of over 700 spectacular monuments. Through the centuries, one constant has remained: the element of fire. The day one festival ends, work begins full-time on the next year's monuments, or fallas as they're known. It's an endless cycle of birth, celebration, and death by fire. Several weeks before the start of Las Fallas, Valencia begins to come alive to the sound of black powder, morning, noon, and night, every day more intense. Each neighborhood, in some sections each street, has its own larger-than-life and children's fallas. The fallas frequently include over a dozen figures, portraying humorous, often scathing, cartoon-like scenes from current events, politics, and popular culture. People vote for their favorites, and awards are given to the winners. From among its many beautiful Fallara maidens, every neighborhood elects its own Fallara queen and children's Fallara queen to grace the proceedings. Each midday at Valencia's town square and at each of the 370 fallas sites around the city, daytime sound fireworks, known as mascletá, are set off in a deafening orgy of noise. For generations, Pirotecnia Caballero of Valencia, a family-owned business, has been responsible for a major part of the fireworks at Las Fallas. Vicente Caballero is its current patriarch.
The mascletá is a uniquely Valencian phenomenon. Outside of Spain, outside of Valencia, it's a very difficult thing to understand.
Within the acoustic confines of a city square, rows and rows of supersized firecrackers, called maroons, are strung together by the thousands. The mascletá is the most powerful display of noise in all fireworks.
We need 6 hours for set up these maroons. All maroons on the ground is only noise. This is on the ground and that is on the sky. It's a lot of different noises.
From a balcony overlooking the town square, the Fallara queen, chosen to represent all Valencia, gives the command to begin the mascletá. There is no event in the pyrotechnic world with such overwhelming effect.
For us, the people of Valencia, it is the art of expressing harmonized noise.
A special falla is erected in the town square to honor the city as a whole, over which the Fallara Queen of Valencia and her attendants preside. This year, it depicts the civilizations that have influenced Valencia's people and culture. The falla that sits in the town square has the added distinction of serving as daily backdrop to the city's largest mascletá, a special honor for its creator, Pedro Baenas Garcia, one of Valencia's most respected fallas artists.
The noise of the mascletá fireworks accentuates the grandeur of the monument. It's much more spectacular to see and experience the work with the noise of the fireworks than without the noise.
A few days prior to the festival's fiery end, over 100,000 Valencians begin a proud, reverent, yet joyous pilgrimage to the cathedral. Women and girls in embroidered silk dresses adorned with gold and jewels. And men and boys wearing traditional satin jackets and sashes, all parade through the streets to offer bouquets of flowers at the foot of the Virgin Mary. During Fallas Week, no one sleeps. Accordingly, the flower offerings continue uninterrupted into the early hours of the morning. And every night of the week, after 12 o'clock, there is a rousing fireworks display outside the city's ancient walls. The next day, it begins all over again. The mascletas, the ceremonies, the parades, and flower offerings. When the last bouquets are presented, well after midnight, more than 25 tons of flowers will have been carried into the Basilica Square. Once back at their neighborhood fallas, paraders celebrate another year's pageant. It's a time for merrymaking with friends and family. Spontaneous joy marks the end of the sacred flower offerings as Valencia launches one of Europe's greatest aerial firework barrages. It's a display known throughout the pyrotechnic world as the Night of Fire.
One can't even conceive of Las Fallas without fireworks. The grandfather, the grandson, the father, the mother, the children. Everyone forms their own opinion about fireworks. It has nothing to do with politics or anything else. It's a part of the culture of the people. It's a spectacle that unites all of humanity.
As always, the festival concludes the next day on March 19th, the Feast of St. Joseph, patron saint of Valencia. Hundreds of pounds of maroons are set off within a few minutes. Smoke, deafening reports, and the smell of black powder fill the plazas, which are packed to capacity. And then the thundering final flourish. Revelers storm the barricades, roaring their approval over what they've just witnessed. They call for the master pyrotechnician, who appears on the balcony of the Fallera Queen. Preparations now begin for the festival's ultimate act of destruction. Starting at 10 p.m., all of the over 700 fallas around the city will be burned. A small yet emotional fireworks show is launched as a salute to Valencia's Fallera Queen and her court of honor in the final remaining moments of their reign. Minutes later, the last falla in the city still standing begins to burn. Valencia's history is full of skilled goldsmiths, gifted poets, brilliant painters, and patient carvers. So it's little wonder, yet still amazing, that so many masterful works can be created from scratch each year for this festival. Perhaps the Fallas artist's inspiration arises from the perpetual need to replace what is gone. For as Valencians often remind themselves, such beauty has been created to be burned. And oh, what magical fire! Just add fireworks and you've got a party. In search of the world's greatest firework displays, we've come to Las Vegas, where the party never stops. The renowned Grucci family, in the pyrotechnics business for well over 100 years, knows this better than most. In addition to Super Bowls, Olympics, and other grand ceremonies around the world, they've staged displays at almost every major casino opening here over the last half-century. So when they were asked to design a New Year's Eve program, Phil Grucci, grandson of the company founder, knew just what they wanted.
Typically Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, if you will, they do it flashy, they do it big. At zero, the whole strip goes. I get goosebumps just thinking about it right now.
Being on that strip, you're going to feel it, smell it, everything. It'll hit all of your senses and they will be blown away.
Pyrotechnically, the energy is going to be there. It's not going to be solemn, it's going to be very happy. So come here and enjoy yourself. Come to the city of entertainment and come celebrate.
An oasis to early Spanish traders, Las Vegas is today a haven to visitors the world over. The hotel and casino boom along the Las Vegas Strip and beyond has attracted the rich and wannabe rich to this American desert city. It's also brought middle-class tourists, jumbo-sized conventions, vacationing families, and just enough other elements to make it interesting. Here, opulence and cash flow are king. Its casinos gross over $6 billion from gaming alone. With so much entertainment, what does the city do when it wants to really pull out the stops? New Year's Eve is one of those rare occasions in Las Vegas when what's going on inside the casinos isn't the only game in town. As night falls, people swarm out onto the Strip, ready to party.
This city is the type of city that draws people to it to release